Okay, we are up on both. No, that's great. Awesome. Good to see you. Hey. Oh, what a stressful 5 minutes that can be sometimes when things just don't work right. Go right back and start from square one. So anyway, I'm good to see that we're up on YouTube and Facebook both now. Hello, everybody. Thanks for being patient with us.
All I see is our sign.
Where?
St. John Astronomy Show sign.
No, there we are. We're live.
Oh, yeah, we're live. Don't be saying that.
No, maybe it's my system.
Reload.
No, Lisa says hello again.
Yeah, hello again, everybody. Okay, I'll might be Nancy. I'm looking out the window myself right now, and it does look like the fog's rolling in pretty quickly. So I think we're going to be out of luck tonight.
There's where you need that fog filter.
That's it. Our old friend, Mr. Fog, is back. My name is Chris Kerwin. I'm the creator of the social media channels known as Astronomy by the Bay, and I'm an amateur astronomer as well, and a member of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, the New Brunswick chapter. First of all, I'd like to welcome back my two regular co-hosts, fellow RAS member, Mr. Mike Powell from the PFO Observatory here in St. John. Welcome, Mike.
Hey.
Welcome back, Mike, I'll say. And I'd like to welcome back Mr. Paul Owen from the Moon Shadow Observatory in beautiful Hampton, New Brunswick. Welcome, Paul.
Hello.
Okay,
Hello.
let's get started back again what we are going to do. On tonight's episode of the Sunday Night Astronomy Show, stand under the summer night sky and you can quickly be in awe of many stars, views of the Milky Way, and more. And it can also be, though, very intimidating and confusing for the beginner who is looking to just develop a new appreciation for what they're viewing. Well, we've all been there, and haven't you guys? Many times. And it doesn't have to be complicated. In tonight's discussion segment, we'll reveal our 6 best tips for beginners to help get you and your family more acquainted with the night sky. 6. That's before and 2. Okay. Also tonight, Bino Bud has promised to return with another timely binocular target of the week. And Mike will give us another method to save astronomy dollars in his MacGyver segment. Paul will be delivering another interesting episode of Rosanna's Fun Facts. And he has another idea to share in his astrophotography tip of the week. I'll be offering a quick view of what to look for in our night sky. Not a whole lot happening this week, but doesn't matter. Fog's out anyway tonight. And I'll have all of your...
You know what? I was reading one of our comments, and there's a potential tornado in northern New Brunswick.
I hear that. Yeah.
There's lots happening.
There is, yes. Yeah. But not in astronomy.
Take cover.
Hide that telescope. Okay. Yeah, don't be out with your dog tonight. Your dog either. I'll offer a quick view of what to look for in the night sky, and I'll have your wonderful photo submissions to share as well. So another busy show we have on our hands, and we're starting a little bit late, so we're going to try to get through our parts pretty quickly. This is a family-friendly, interactive live broadcast. So for those of you joining us from my YouTube channel or Facebook page, we're happy to try and answer all of your astronomy questions here in real time as well. Rogers TV Network. Thank you for your support. Rogers and customers. Hey. So let's get started again with tonight's program and a look at our top 6 tips for beginning astronomers.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Mike, you're up.
Oh, okay.
I just picked. Random pick.
But okay.
Yep.
Tip number 1: before you buy a telescope, buy a set of binoculars. You know why? These can be used for everything. Binoculars, you can't beat them. Can you hear me? Am I loud, clear? Awesome. Like, everybody comes up to me and says, what should I get for a telescope? What should I get for a telescope? And commonly I say, if you don't enjoy sitting on your back deck for endless hours with a pair of binoculars looking at the night sky, don't waste your time buying a telescope. But right off the bat, if you want something good to view the night sky with, a pair of binoculars is a heck of a place to start. Number 1, you're looking with both eyes in stereo, so it's that much more awesome. You got a wide field of view, not like a telescope where you're more zoomed in. There's objects that you can see with binoculars. You can see the whole object that you cannot see with a telescope. And I don't care what kind of scope you got, unless you paid a lot of money for it. But you want to see the Pleiades cluster, the only way to look at it really and see the whole thing is a pair of binoculars. Do you want to see the double cluster to catch the whole thing? You know, you can see the pair of binoculars. You want to see Andromeda Galaxy, the whole thing, you know, through visual. My guess would be you got to use a pair of binoculars. So, in my opinion, if you're starting out in astronomy and you want to start looking around the night sky before you choose a telescope, get yourself a good pair of binoculars. And then go out and see if you actually enjoy the night sky. And if you don't, well, you can still use the binoculars for birding, or you can use them for, one tip is binoculars over telescopes. I would buy a set of binoculars first before you run out and choose what you want to get for a telescope. The other item I wanted to talk to you about was the difference between, or, you know, the advantages or disadvantages between a manual mount and a go-to mount. Now, everybody thinks nowadays go-to is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, I'll tell you what, it can be annoying as heck. Number one, go-to mounts are a lot more expensive. Just right off the bat, it's going to cost you more because you're paying for motors and you're paying for a hand pad and software and other things like that. What do you want to do with your telescope? If you're doing visual only and you don't plan on doing any kind of astrophotography, just simple, you know, looking through the eyepiece and viewing, your best bet is to buy a manual mount like a Dob. You get large aperture in a Dobsonian. It's simple push-pull. And the money you save from buying a go-to scope, you can buy more aperture in a Dobsonian. And it's excellent, excellent, excellent to learn the night sky and find your way around without having to use go-to. Excuse me. Go-to, on the other hand, if you plan on doing any kind of astrophotography, is a must. You have to have a tracking scope for any kind of long exposure astrophotography. Even if you're only shooting 30 seconds through a scope, unless you are guiding and using a tracking mount, you're not going to get a shot. So go-to is great for astrophotography. It's great if you don't want to learn the night sky. You just want the scope to run around and go to a point that you want to look at. I think manual is better for learning the night sky. You'll get better views if that's all you want to do is view, because you'll be able to afford larger aperture, which is going to give you better views. To make sure it's charged, you have a possibility of wires hanging down and getting caught up. There is a lot of disadvantages, as far as I'm concerned, to go-to scopes, unless you want to spend a lot of money and move maybe into astrophotography later on using the same equipment. Just visual viewing, you want to see some planets or see the moon as well. You can photograph the moon through a Dob with your phone now, and you don't need all this fancy go-to stuff to do that. So it's your choice. But I think if you're going to do just visual and not astrophotography, definitely want to go with a manual mount. I think they're better. You get more bang for the buck. You'll get a larger aperture for the amount of money you would spend. On the other side, if you want to do astrophotography, go ahead and get yourself a go-to mount, because you're going to need it to do any kind of long-term astrophotography. That's pretty much the only difference between the two, is what you want to do with it. So that's my speech.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. No, great points. All great points. And beginners, listen up, because this is what we've seen in our past that will hopefully save you some money down the road as well, right? That's the whole idea. Spend your money wisely, and like any other hobby, I guess it takes time to get to know it. Paul stepped away, so maybe I'll start with my little segment, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're listening.
Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about resources that are available. That's going to pop up here in the wrong screen, of course, first of all, but I got to move it. Let's get it back up to here. And first I'll get rid of those. Okay. So I know that a lot of us can be looking around for resources on the internet, and astronomy, sorry. I typed this yesterday after my 24-hour night out. My 6-kilometer walk home. Anyway, let's call it astronomy, but useful apps maybe we'll talk about first. So you guys are all aware of these anyway. Please shout out there, guys, if you want to. Stellarium. Of course, we've preached about this a lot. Anytime I put up a post about something happening in the night sky, I'll always use Stellarium as the go-to drawing or diagram to bring up. Stellarium is probably the most powerful freeware program that you're going to find to do with astronomy. There's also a Stellarium web version as well. So over here, there's a Stellarium web. So you can go to stellarium.org and click on that one, and you can actually have a web version available. If you don't want to download it, or if you're on your phone and you want to just look up something quickly, I've done it many times from work, like look at lunchtime and see what's coming up at night. So that's an option to you. But when you download this program, there are lots of tutorials out there to teach you on it. Actually, Rask has a set of tutorials on the go right now that you can sign up for to learn more about Stellarium. But it's a very powerful freeware program, and I highly recommend it. I'll just leave it at that. It's probably my number one choice. Sky Portal, Mike, you can talk a little bit about this one, I guess. A mobile app. Celestron have come up with this one, and it's not only used for viewing night sky, but also use it for your Wi-Fi module if you want to control your telescope. So it's another very highly rated app that's out there. A third one would be Google Sky Map. This one actually has a lot of high reviews on it as well, 490,000 reviews. But it brings up a sky map that you can basically move around the sky with your palm, with your app, with your phone. That Skyview Google one, I think, is a couple bucks. Skyview Lite is free. Here again, it draws the constellations as you're moving your phone around the sky, so it does help you to learn when you're out in the field. On top of that, Polar Finder, if anybody has an EQ type mount, you're going to want to know where North Star is, right? So this is, you guys are the guys who were educated in that part. I'm always an Alt-Az guy myself, a visual guy, but I think I set up that EQ mount twice. Once when I was by myself, and then once on a show here to show people how to use it. Yeah. Anyway, Paul and Mike can talk a lot more about how to polar align using a program like this, but there's $1.19 to buy, so it can't be that hard. It's $1.19.
It's actually the easiest app you'll ever use for polar alignment, and it works very well.
Awesome. Okay. All-in-one app. This is from Photopills. Paul, you're going to talk a bit about that, so I'm not going to really get into this.
Okay.
But that was one of the ones I brought up as an app. Okay, let's go to some websites now, maybe. Actually, this should have been the next slide first. There it is. Useful. That's place to go back one. And the one I would bring up, probably the most important, probably us right around here, not just the Rask NB site, but also St. John Astronomy Club, our local club, and our website designer, Jim, has put together an amazing page here with all kinds of links. Like each of these are links that take you to a drop-down menus, and then down the left and right-hand side, there's all kinds of menus as well. More information there than you could deal with in an evening for sure. So he has a pile of information available on that page. Here's some of the things like on the left-hand side here, talk about links, sky at a glance, for the next week. Timeanddate.com, heavens above. These are some of the ones I'm just going to show here, but some of the sites that he thinks are useful links as well. They have a monthly calendar, 29th and 30th. So we put up our present events, like the most recent event, I guess, or the closest event to our timeline. Also, you can go to Rask NB. That's our provincial site. As again, we're members of the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, the New Brunswick chapter. About 5,000 members Canada-wide. There's about 100 and some members in the province. And we get together in places like Mount Carleton to share our telescopes with others, with the public, this particular weekend coming up. But we're just a group of people as amateur astronomers as well, only it's a province-wide initiative. If you want to look at clear sky, like we're trying to do tonight here, hey, they kind of lied here tonight because look at what they showed for tonight. But anyway, nobody counts on the fog. One way to find out what your sky is going to be like is go to cleardarksky.com, and you can type in your location. And of course, mine's St. John, so the blue bars tell us that the cloud cover is supposed to be clear. The white means that it's cloudy. The transparency of the sky, the seeing, if there's any smoke in the air from forest fires, how's the wind, how's the humidity level, you might need dew heaters, and what's the temperature like. So it gives you all those categories for you to make a more definite decision on whether or not you're going to go out and set up or not. A more informed decision, I guess. Past that, again, there's another site I really like now, Astrospheric, which is a website and also an app. And it'll give you particular cloud cover. You can actually move it ahead for a couple of days anyway. Same idea though as Clear Sky. You know, the blue means it's clear, white means it's cloudy. The different levels down here, transparency and stuff. But this one also shows the ISS. So the ISS is flying over tonight at 10 o'clock. In the time frame of 10 to 11. Once you click on those on the site, it'll actually give you the information about it as well. You know, about the wind speed and lots of stuff down here, temperature. So that's a really good site to visit. Another one that I find pretty popular is Cloudy Nights. If I have a question about telescopes or binoculars or eyepieces or gear, there are people in here that have answered that question lots of times. Look at this category for beginners, for instance. Beginners, no astrophotography. A place to talk about observing your basic equipment. 558,000 replies. So if you can't find your answer there, then you're not looking in the right spot. But there's a whole category for beginners and general observing, celestial events, all kinds of stuff. So it's cloudynights.com. They also have a classified section in there. Here's some of the other categories: outreach, light pollution, binoculars. Any question you have about any of those topics, someone has the answer for you. So it's a great resource for that way. Spaceweather.com, we've been talking a lot about the aurora the last little bit. Space weather is a great place to go to find out what's going to be happening. Here's our view of the sun, a daily view of the sun here with all the sunspots that are here today, and talking about a new CME impact coming up. And so you get information about that regularly on this page. And you actually go through the archives too and find out, hey, I missed yesterday. What were they talking about yesterday? So that's available too. From there, Earth Sky is another great place to get lots of information about what's happening in the night sky. On the right-hand side here, they always list about the next couple of events coming up. Best places to stargaze, all kinds of stuff. Community photos is in there. A lot of our members have, I think even Lisa's put a few photos in here on Earth Sky. Stefan, I think, as well. Sky News Magazine, that's our Canadian astronomy magazine. So they focus on Canadian events and Canadian activities. It's all also owned by Rask. Sky and Telescope, another one that is very popular for a magazine, but Irving, and I'll go into or glance at a week. It'll give me a weekly glance of what's coming up the following week before I build my What's Up talk. Again, talking about Aurora, this is the site I use the most often, and I find it the most reliable, is swppc.noaa.gov, which is a space weather prediction center. And they update this on a regular basis. Tonight, actually, they're calling for a G1 level at KP5, which would mean like Quebec type area would get aurora. But then they list at the top, and they also go down the side here, and you can look at the 3-day forecast. There's a lot of information on that particular page, but I find it the most reliable. Here's another one, though, spaceweatherlive.com. It also indicates what the current KP level is going to be. You want a 5 or a 6 around our area, and how active it's going to be at high latitudes or at middle latitude, and what they expect the forecast to be coming up. So lots of data there as well. Astronomy tools. You can find out your field of view if you're looking through a telescope with a certain size and you're using a certain type of eyepiece, what field of view would you be able to get. It brings up star charts, there's a cloud forecast, all kinds of data there called Astronomy Tools. That's all free as well. This one was actually Space Weather Live. I actually had that in twice. That's other parts of it. Tonight Sky, which is a Hubble site. So every month, Hubble site puts out a video called Tonight Sky, and it gives you the best points of what's happening through the month of July or August or whatever. They used to talk about planets and stuff. I'm not sure why they get away from that, but now they're just talking about constellations mostly. But it's still a very nice, well put together video about what's happening over the next month. From there, NASA, of course, I mean, all the missions that you want to imagine are all listed here under the missions button. All the galleries, NASA TVs, live TV, anything, event that there are kinds of downloads, tons of them. There's all kinds of educational material in here. I've used a number of their educational videos for talks that I've done in the past for schools and things. So lots of information on NASA's site. Heavens above. If you're talking about the ISS or you're talking about the Starlink passes that are happening tonight, this kind of thing, there's one place that you can find me. If you go to Heavens Above and you put in up here in this top right-hand corner your location, or click on it, it'll bring up a spot where you can put in your location, then just hit search and update it, and it'll save it for the next time you come visit it. So it'll give you information about the Starlink satellite, the ISS, when it's going to pass over, how many passes this week, other objects that come up. It's also the planets, comets, all kinds of stuff that's in there. It's a very, very helpful page. Another one to visit would be timeanddate.com. That's a very popular one. When I want to look at what phase the moon is at or when the moon is going to rise or set, when I put that in my post, I always go here. I want to know sunrise, sunset, moonrise, moonset, and all kinds of, they'll talk about what a solar eclipse is, the lunar eclipse. It'll give you the next number of solar eclipses from now till the year 2300, which I don't expect to be around for, but anyway. And then, of course, if you're looking for gear, there are a few places to look. Here's one of them, Astro Buy Sell, on this page. We use it a lot ourselves. These are the links for the telescope dealers within Canada, the majority of them anyway. And below that is the list of used equipment. Now, we have no fear buying from these places at all. Set it up on a PayPal account. Most of them will take PayPal, and then you're guaranteed, you know. But all this gear is used, and I've never had a bad deal come from that side at all. It's used gear, and astronomers usually take care of their equipment. So that's a good place to go to and another good place to go is Kijiji, of course. Kijiji there's telescopes there listed just today. A Dobsonian telescope, 200 millimeter out of Fredericton for $550. Not a bad buy. That's an 8-inch telescope. So you can get in here and you can find deals every once in a while. People just want to get rid of their stuff. Sometimes they're just not interested in the hobby. They tried it, they don't like it, and they want to unload their gear, and sometimes you can get some pretty good deals. And finally, I guess, Facebook Marketplace, which is what we're all the time. In Marketplace, they do list a lot of used items as well. They can go from within 100 kilometers of your area or a little bit larger, that type of thing. So that's about it, I guess, as far as resources to go. So I listed some. There's a ton of them, really, but those are probably the the ones that I visit the most. You guys probably visit other ones, you know, more. And someday maybe we'll combine a complete list of everything. But hopefully that'll get some people started, at least. You can go back and review this video as well. It's recorded now for Facebook and for you both, so you can always go back and review the data later. Okay, that's my talk. Hey, Paulie.
How
you doing?
Oh, you know, just hanging in there.
Yeah, it's me, Mom.
Hi, Mom. I'm famous.
Yeah.
I made it on TV. Hey.
I see Mikey and Chrissy and Paulie. I used to duck behind the couch when she got that tennis racket out.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to give you a short list of things. Is anybody going out to view the night sky? But if you're just starting out, the first thing you want to get yourself, and you can get them, you can order them, or you can go to any one of our astronomy meetings. Anytime you go to an outreach, somebody's passing these things out. This one's in French, but it's a planisphere. And what it is, it's just a little thing for the night sky that basically, it's really quite simple to use. Basically, all you do is you look at the face of it, and you're in the northern area. You just put that part of that towards your belly for a minute. Before you do that, there's actually a little clock on it. I won't get into how to use it. I'm not going to teach you how to use it right here, but there's a clock on it, which shows the time of night and the date. You spin it so that they line up with each other. That will show you a current look at the night sky. And then all you do is just take it up and hold it up overhead. And what you're seeing here are all the constellations that will be available to you in your hemisphere at that time that you're looking at this. So when you look up, if you're looking at all these stars and you're not sure what they are, this will have all the lines that kind of connect all the constellations together so you can actually see what they are. So these are something for somebody who's just starting out in astronomy. Don't even go out with binoculars. Just go out with a naked eye and this and a little red flashlight so that you can keep your eyes nice and adapted. And just have a look at this and then just kind of start to find your way around the night sky. Because before you get into any of the other stuff that Mike talked about or that Chris talked about, you need to know a little bit about what's up there to begin with. So that would be something I would recommend for a beginner, or even for somebody who isn't a beginner and who has relied on go-to electronics and they really still don't know the night sky, because with go-to electronics mount and they're asking you to point at specific stars. If you do not know the stars, this thing will help you out. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is there's a couple of books that that I would recommend that anybody into stargazing gets. And but for somebody who's starting out that really wants to get to know the night sky, there's two books that are put out. One by Terence Dickinson, and the other one by Terence Dickinson and Alan Dyer. The first one is Night Watch. We've talked about this book lots on this show, and but it is a practical guide to viewing the universe, and it has everything in there from those little sky charts that we talked about. Talks about the solar system, talks about the planets. It'll talk for something very simple like we were at a star party the other night in St. Martin's, and somebody said, "How do I find the planets?" And so it tells you that, okay, well, where does the sun come up and where does the sun set? East to west. Where does the moon come up? Where does the moon set? East to west. So all you're looking for is what they call the ecliptic, which is something that all the planets and the sun and the moon follow throughout the year. And once you know where that arc is, you're going to know automatically. Look north to find a planet. You look towards the south, and then go from basically east to west. Just things like that are very, very helpful when you're first getting out there trying to find things. And then, of course, they've got all these star charts in there, which are really, really helpful for very specific parts of the sky, for very specific times. Some of the things you'll find from this book, and this other book that is actually in its fourth edition, and it just came out not too long ago, is the back watch covers, but it also covers everything about equipment, everything, I won't say everything, but a lot of very basic, important, fundamental things about if you want to take pictures of the night sky, everything from using a camera to a tripod just to take a Milky Way shot, right on up to grabbing a telescope with a German equatorial mount with mono cameras and all that other stuff that you can do. It covers basically all of that. And this is a book, and these books both are by Canadians, and these are Canadian-based books. So the Backyard Astronomer's Guide, this is the fourth edition, and it is a must for anybody who's getting into, as far as I'm concerned, getting into astronomy. It'll save you from buying a whole myriad of a bunch of different books, because this book contains, and as you can see, it's pretty thick. This book contains just about everything you're going to want to know. Get yourself started. So that's it. So those are the two books that I want to talk about, as well as the Planisphere. And the other thing would be, I'm going to talk just very briefly. I was going to show a video, but based on our time, I'm not going to do that tonight. But if you're going to go out and you want to look at taking photos of the night sky, whether it be sunrises, sunsets, moonrises, moonsets, Milky Way, specific things, star trails, there's an app called PhotoPills, which when it first came out, you could only get for iPhone, but now you can get it for iPhone and for Android. And it covers a lot of the things that you'll need to do when you're in the planning phase. What's really cool about that particular app is it's got a whole section just based on planning. So for example, if we know that the next supermoon's coming out in whenever it's coming out, let's just say, because I don't know, but let's just say next month there was another one in August, let's say it was on the 15th. You can go into the photo pills, go into a planning app, and you can actually what the date of the supermoon is, where it's going to be coming up, and then if there's a specific spot that you want to see it come up over, you can put that into the actual application, and you can actually right down to the very degree find out where that's going to come up, the time it's going to come up, and is it in your field of view for, for say, if you want a certain building or a lighthouse or something that you can see, and it'll show you all that kind of stuff. It gives you sun and moon times, sunrise times, sun moon times. It's just so much stuff on it. But anyway, look it up. It's got a very, very good, about a 5-minute video to watch. It'll walk you through the whole process. And when you go through that first video, you'll be very, very familiar with the basis of that whole application. It's a powerful one, and it's probably the most used application, not only for astronomy, but actually more so for sunsets and sunrises and landscape photographers. But they've incorporated a bunch of stuff with astronomy on it too. So anyway, PhotoPills, check it out. Just type in PhotoPills into Google. It'll come up, play the video, and then you'll have a really good idea of what that app is. And I think if you're someone who wants to take photographs, that app would be almost a must for you. Those are my things.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul.
Well,
there we go. That's our list for beginners. I mean, also, I guess, is making a list of items that you might want to take along with you. Like, try not to leave anything at home, because you're really going to regret it once you get out there, especially bug spray or
doesn't take much.
Hot coffee, like that. All those kind of, just a chair to sit on is something that's really important. But make a nice list before you go. Check it off as you would anything else that was important to you for the evening, and it'll help you enjoy the evening a lot more. Okay, let's go from there to Bino Bud.
Bung, 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 bung. Binocular target of the week this week by Bino Bud. We've seen this one before, the double cluster. Also known as NGC 869 and NGC 884. The double cluster, also known as Caldwell 14, consists of open clusters NGC, again, 869 and NGC 884, which are close together in the constellation Perseus. Both visible with the naked eye, NGC 869 and NGC 884 lie at a distance of about 7.5 thousand light years in distance. How do I find it in the sky? Well, if you go out at midnight and you orient yourself north and just a little bit to the north-northeast at 35 degrees at midnight, you look up, you'll spot the W of Cassiopeia. And you might spot the top of Perseus, the bright star at the top end of Perseus. And if you come down from the W right down towards Perseus, you're going to know when you hit that double cluster, especially with binoculars. It just jumps right out at you. Just to give you an easier way to do it, if you find the W of Cassiopeia, draw a line from these two stars in the W, and it will point, straight to it. This is what you will see. Basically, in a pair of binoculars. They are two nice tight clusters, very close together. They jump right out at you in space. 5 or 10 by 50 binos, look at that. They are a huge target. You can't, or I can't, out of all the telescopes I have, I cannot see the whole double cluster in my telescope. I need a pair of binoculars to see them both clearly like that. And of course, I'm a wide field person, so I love to see the back. Look at compared to the full moon here. It's got to be 3 full moons in diameter all the way around. So they are a good size, easy to spot. You'll definitely know when you come down from from Cassiopeia towards Perseus that they are there. It will jump right out at you. And this reminds me of what Chris was talking about. I got my bug spray.
I got the mice to prove it.
And that's Binocular Target of the Week by Bino Bud.
There you go.
And not only do they get in your eyes or ears, but they climb your eyepieces, and you're squashing them on your eyepieces, and
Yes.
yeah, they can ruin an evening really quick. Okay, Tim's asking, how is it possible to get all the Milky Way in a single pic? Would you use a fisheye lens?
You can. The best way to do it is doing a mosaic where you take 2 or 3 images of it.
Okay.
If you want any kind of resolution, so you can take 2 or 3 images of it, then you just stitch them together. You can do it in Photoshop or Lightroom.
Okay,
I
perfect.
would
Thanks.
think you need to have a whole year to do it because half of it is on the other side of the earth at night.
Oh, you mean the foot? Yeah, right.
Yeah, the whole Milky
I
Way.
know what you're saying, but it's like,
Well,
okay, the full Milky Way.
What's really important is to shoot it a place where you can see horizon to horizon, south to north. And so if you've got a whole bunch of trees or buildings on one side, well, if you've got buildings, you're in the wrong place anyway. It's still not dark enough. But if you've got obstructions that are there on one side and not the other, you're only going to get as far as wherever your obstructions are. So again, if you can find a place that's nice horizon to horizon, and then you can do it with a 14 millimeter lens. Take your say your northern section, northern horizon, as far over as you can, and then you can put them together in a photo editing program.
awesome. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Hope that answers your question, Tim. Sky is near perfect at St. John Airport at the moment. Oh, great, Bridget. Let's hope it stays. Doesn't look like we're good from here. Oh, well. Might be out to
But
see
the
you.
flight's been canceled.
Yeah, get on that flight quick before fog rolls out to you. Okay, let's go from there to a, what are you going to do next? Well, we did a Bino Bud. How about a Rosanna talk?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Just give me a centon here to get it set up.
A Centon.
Oh,
I haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah.
is that Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Now we're talking.
We're kind of dating ourselves now, aren't
Let's
we?
just show us how. Let's just show our folks here how nerdy we really are.
Only if you're talking about the first Battlestar Galactica, not the second series.
Oh, now the second one's reimagined. That's really good too.
Reimagine.
The reimagined one. Yeah.
Okay.
Really dark, Mike. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
There are some videos on this that oh, don't tell me I lost them again.
Oh, don't you do something, Paul? Give you a minute.
No, yeah, you might as well.
Okay,
I wasn't.
I'll do a quick what's up talk. How's that?
Perfect.
All right. Did I share my last time? I didn't for you guys, did I? You didn't see my
Probably not.
presentation. Probably not. Gee, I'm all worked up tonight. Yeah, I'm out of touch tonight. Okay. Let's do a quick what's up. Okay, what's up this week? What's up this week? Got about 12 slides here. Not much. Okay. All week long, though, the evening planets return. Hey, yeah. The evening planets are back. Hooray. Look to the east, southeast all week as the ring beauty Saturn, the mighty Jupiter, and reddish Mars all return to our evening sky. Now, Saturn and Jupiter have been hanging around in the very late evening sky, but each night now they're rising about 4 minutes earlier. So Saturn now rises about 10 p.m., which is not too bad. By 11 o'clock, it's up high enough to get a good view. Jupiter is at 11:38 p.m. and Mars at 1:03 a.m. As mentioned, these times will improve for good viewing as our days of summer continue. Now Tuesday, our moon greets Venus. Look to the east early Tuesday morning as our very thin crescent moon greets brilliant Venus. Venus is the third brightest object in our sky behind the sun and our moon. So we have the second and third brightest objects together there. Our moon will only be about 4% illuminated though on Tuesday, and will turn new again on Thursday. So be very thin crescent moon, very nice picture right there, where you've got the Pleiades star cluster, the Hyades star cluster, our winter stuff, Aldebaran in Taurus, Jupiter, Mars, and Venus, and the crescent moon. Get up nice and early. Well, that's not early. It's only 5 o'clock. Oh, that's nothing. Let's go to Thursday, the 28th, when we have a new moon. Our new moon turns new on Thursday at exactly 2:54 p.m. Atlantic Daylight Time. When our moon is new, it's not visible in our sky as it's located between us and our sun. But it's also a time astronomers look forward to when there's no light pollution from the moon. It makes it easier to enjoy other night sky treasures. And then past that, so can catch the 30-hour moon before sunset. Something that's always interesting challenge to try and capture the moon when it's near 1 day old. On Friday evening, look to the west-northwest to see if you can spot the 30-hour moon. It's a very slim piece right there. Only about 1% illuminated, I think. Binoculars will help, but be sure the sun has set long before you start to search, right? So search for the moon there in the west-northwest. It's difficult to spot, but once you do spot it, you got your eye right on it. It's pretty cool. Let's go one more slide because I want to get to this one next. Really got them mixed up here. Friday, July 29th, also Mercury joins the moon. So if you haven't seen Mercury in our evening sky, it's now returned to our evening sky after going through Superior conjunction. And because it's in the evening sky, it's still fairly bright in the evening sky at that time because Mercury never really drifts very far from the sun. But we have the waxing crescent moon, a very thin crescent moon, and little tiny Mercury there. The moon will help guide you to Mercury at least. Now, how is it going to appear? Something like this. You'll find Mercury about 4.5 degrees to the lower left of the moon, which means both the moon and Mercury should fit together in the same field of view of most binoculars. So if you find the moon, look for Mercury. And you've got maybe, I think the moon sets on that night at around 10 o'clock. So you have, I don't know, half an hour maybe to find it before it sets. But Mercury will set before the moon as well. Okay, from there, of course, July 27th to August 24th, the Perseid meteor shower is now on. I did get a few photos from the other night with some meteors passing through them. And they were coming from the area. Perseus was kind of neat. Although we're still almost 4 weeks away, it's known widely as the best meteor shower of the year, not only because of its good rate of meteors, but because it's probably the most witnessed due to warm summer nights. Now this year, unfortunately, bright moon is going to wash out all but the best meteors. That's when it happens during the peak. But the show takes some time to take place. So if you have a dark sky right now, like not foggy sky, but dark sky, over the next number of days, it's a good time to get out. And while you're looking for those deep sky treasures, keep an eye out for some meteors. So our moon moves closer to the new phase. Be on the lookout as that happens. Okay, from there we have, did I miss one? I did miss one. There it is. All week the ISS, yeah. So we talked a bit about Starlink satellites heading over tonight and again tomorrow night. The ISS also has a number of nice passes over our area in the next little bit. So the ones that are in red here are the most visible. When you go to heavens-above.com and you type St. John in my case in the top right-hand corner, and you click on ISS, this is what it brings you up, a table, if it's available in your area. For instance, on the 25th now, that would be tomorrow, I guess, minus 3.7 and minus 3.1. So the larger the number is of a minus value, the brighter the object is. So minus 3.7, that's about as bright as Venus gets, roughly right around there. So it's pretty bright. Its time is 22:57 out of the west-northwest, 2300 overhead, and then 2301 off to the east-southeast. So this one's going to pass almost directly overhead. Then there are some other number of passes here as well. So just look for the ones that have the highest or the most negative number, and that'll be the brightest passes. And so there's a number of nice passes this week. On from there, talked about the meteor shower. We're going to go to Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and Up Talk. And she lists all the events coming up for the month. She lists the dates of when they're going to be happening, the best times to view those events, and what you need to view them with, naked eye, binoculars, or a telescope. So follow Lisa at Lisa's Lookup, Astronomy and More. You can find her at Ruby Moonbeams on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we also have the July-August calendar that's put out by the St. John Astronomy Club and the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada, the Brunswick chapter. This is the full July-August calendar, so right up till I guess the middle of August, and it lists all the major events that are happening from now right through till the mid-August. You can find that at sjastronomy.ca or at rasknb.ca. And that's our talk about what's up this week. Okay. And we'll stop presenting. Okay. Hey, Paul, you're back.
Yay!
Hey.
All right, let's try and see if we can't get this this done properly. So, share my screen, and we're going to have another episode of
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey, welcome back, Rosanna, with another week of a great fun fact that we're about to get into. And a lot of it is based on rocket stuff. But before I get into that, let me just get this open here. And we'll get right into it. Okay, so this week, Rosanna writes, hi, Paul. You know that sinking feeling, the microsecond of most of the time, or rather, hopefully, all of the time, is just minor things like leaving the top down on your convertible, and suddenly it's raining. That's an oopsie. There's a little video that I can't play on this one because a bunch of commercials come up, but it just shows this particular car. And now for you physics fan, here's a fun example of as to the theory that you must drive 100 miles per hour if it's raining and you can't get the top up. And that's what these guys did with those cars. They cranked her up to 100 miles an hour, and that was enough to get the rain over the car. They didn't get wet. So when you run out of gas, you're going to get wet.
That's my car.
That's right. Somehow I don't think driving 100 miles an hour in the rain, even in a BMW, is the best idea. Now, on Wednesday, July the 11th, there was an oopsie of a rather larger level because the world was focused on tuning in the next day to the unveiling of the James Webb Telescope images, or to the James Webb Telescope images. This may have escaped your radar. My apologies for Elon's close-up. None of the programs would let me edit him out. Surprise. So SpaceX is testing